Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of the EKN Face2Face. My name's Rob Howden. I'm currently up in Seattle, Washington, getting set to head to the Road to Indy event at St. Petersburg on Thursday. Of course, David Cole just wrapping things up this past weekend at GoPro Motorplex, what is right now our final EKN Trackside Live program of the year. David, as I said, wrapping things up. Got a chance to drive some CRG karts at GoPro today as well. You might have saw that on social media. Today decided we would hook up and do another one of our face-to-face shows because obviously some big news kind of hitting the ground last week when we found out that Danny Formal, of course, was top-ranked driver for the last number of years and the winner at both the Rock the Rio and the SKUSA SuperNationals last year, coming back to the Formula K brand with his team ANSA Motorsports and connecting again with the guy that helped make it happen last year, Greg Bell from Leading Edge Motorsports. I thought, you know what? We're getting ready to go into the Rock the Rio. The event, as we're seeing on social, is 100% green, heading into Vegas again in a couple of weeks. I wanted to bring them on. So I actually have Danny Formal, I've got Greg Bell, and I've got Patrick-Otto Madsen as well from ANSA Motorsports. Let's bring everybody in here right now. I think Patrick's still getting himself dialed in. Let's bring Greg in, bring Danny in. Patrick. Guys, how are you? Welcome to Face2Face.
What's up, guys?
Hello.
I like it. A new power team coming together here online, which I think is fantastic. Again, big news. We'll start with Greg Bell. It kind of came out of your side, Greg, and Leading Edge Motorsports. Of course, you've been with Formula K for a number of years now. You and Danny, of course, unbelievable success last year at both Rock the Rio and then in the KZ category at the SuperNationals. First and foremost, let's get the basic deal. I know that you, when Danny left to go to ANSA with Patrick, obviously it was a great opportunity there. Patrick will talk more about what ANSA Motorsports is and kind of some of the opportunities for Daniel there, but you kind of lost your boy, right? I know that you said, good luck to him. I wish him the best because it's a great opportunity, but man, the three of you guys, you, Danny, and the Formula K chassis was a pretty potent package.
Yeah, Danny and I have been friends for years, and everybody knows that. We finally got an opportunity to work one-on-one to, at the end of 2018 and through 2019, and it was nothing but magic. And it was, we all do the same thing. It's like, you set out to prove something really, really big, and I think we did that. And then, of course, at the end of the year, you kind of start looking at the budget, and you're like, man, this is really, taxing.
Yep.
And then Patrick kind of got a hold of Danny, wanted to do some stuff with Danny, and you can never, that's the big goal, is try to, work a program of your own through somebody that's getting the opportunity to do that and help them, and then also have an opportunity to drive car stuff. I was no way going to stand in the way of that opportunity because it was huge. We talked early on, me and Patrick, to try to get them onto the winning chassis, and he had some reservations, and I totally respect everything that he came from. And told him, I said, well, let's table that, and just maybe somewhere down the road we can get back into the same conversation. And Danny and I talked quite a bit. I helped him a little bit when we were in Indy, trying to get the Braille Art stuff a little bit better for him so he can have a shot at winning. And after that event, we talked a little bit more, and I'm just like, well, I think we all need to get together again and bring Patrick along this time. And Danny's like, well, hey, Patrick's interested. Can you send me a go-kart? I'm like, yeah. So I sent him a go-kart. Maybe 2 weeks ago now. Landed on that Wednesday. They put it together and went and ran an event at Homestead where, to the best of my knowledge, I don't think Patrick's ever gone that fast at that race with a rock, shifter package on it. And so, I was pretty excited, and I was watching the race, and I'm like going, looks like he made a pass for the lead, and then all of a sudden the timing went out. So it was like he was going backwards like every lap, and I'm texting Danny. I'm like, shit, that's nuts. You had the speed fastest of the race. And Danny's like, no, what are you talking about? He's still racing. He's starting to pull away from the guys. So it was all the stars aligned again. So we have an opportunity to do some really cool things and for Rock the Rio, and then, carry that relationship and hopefully a momentum on into Florida Winter Tour, and get ANSA's program in karting a little more solidified, and maybe get him a bunch more sales, and start making his pocketbook happy too.
Well, and we'll talk about that. We'll move over to Patrick in a second. You look at leading edge motorsports, Greg. You've been doing this for 25 years in the sport, from the back in the days of the SKUSA Pro Moto Tour through Stars of Karting, all those events. Patrick, you're on the other side of this. ANSA Motorsports has a lot of history in sports car racing, but you guys are relatively new to karting in terms of having like a race team kind of thing for karting. You've done a lot of arrive and drive days. You've got gentleman drivers that run with you guys as well, but obviously something new. Let's start with the groundswell. Let's talk first about ANSA Motorsports. I'll come back to talk about how Danny Formal got with you, but give the people here in the karting industry and the community a little feel for what ANSA Motorsports is all about. You got a lot of really cool cars in that shop.
No, absolutely. I mean, it's first of all, hats off to my uncle Alain Nadal, who started the team back in 2005 and started running it as a business. And the rest is pretty much history. I joined forces with Alain Nadal back in 2014 when he moved from a small shop in Hialeah, and we moved to this new facility here in Miami Gardens, our beautiful new facility that we cherish so much. And at that point, I started to learn the big car side of the business, and I'm going to back it up a little bit. In 2012, I started karting, with a dually, a small trailer, and started going across the Florida region, competing on my own and learning about the kart business. And that's when I started to really appreciate all the talent that was out there in karting. I had my eye on Danny for a long time. At the time, he was a bit less approachable, a kind of stocky kid, didn't know really how to go out there and talk, so I felt a little bit reserved about approaching him so early. But
so did a lot of people.
But we eventually reconnected at the which I believe was the 2018 or 19 Florida Winter Tour.
Yeah, 2019 Hard Rock.
2019 Hard Rock round of the Winter Tour, and Danny came by the shop, and that's how that relationship started. So, yeah, the big car stuff, a lot of interesting stuff. The karting for me was kind of an awakening. I raced cars a long time. And when I started racing karts, I really had the appreciation for it.
Yeah.
And we're a very new karting team, new to the industry. Right now, traction for us is doing a lot of rentals and club racing. So that's been our main source of revenue. And then last year we started racing seriously on the national level. And the relationship with Danny was pretty much an easy one for me to do. Not only I wanted Danny to help my kart program, but I also wanted to help out Danny's career in the big car stuff. And everything just kind of fell into place. And Danny was in Costa Rica, and I told him, you need to come and live here and grab every opportunity that comes your way. And that's exactly what we did. And so I think Danny's had a wonderful year, not only karting, but, participating in some LMP3 local club racing, as well as doing some IMSA racing with the Lamborghini Super Trofeo cars that we have. Yeah. And, his driving has been tremendous, from the karting and as well as the car stuff. I mean, his driving is pretty much flawless. So I think everybody's happy here to have Danny on board.
Well, let's bring Danny in then. So Danny, let's look at this past year for you, right? You're with Greg last year. You guys got on that tear at the end of the season in November. You're able to win the Rock to Rio. You're able to win at the SuperNationals as well. Then you hook up with Patrick. You have this season amidst the COVID craziness where you're trying to get racing in and trying to get karting in. You did a bunch of car racing, but you're also part of this program that's really kind of new in terms of karting. That you can kind of put your signature on, be kind of a big part of. Tell me a little bit of how you look at this past 12 months.
Well, Rob, seriously, it's been a roller coaster. Like, I think everyone's 2020 has felt like, I don't think anyone in the world and the planet would ever thought our generation would go through what we've gone, right? The world's shutting down for so many months, and not only racing, the whole world. It's not something we wanted to live by, but we've made the best of it. I think ANSA, we had, a handful of customers each winter tour round. We had 5 in the first round, 5 in the second round, and 5 in the last round. We had good results. We had good clients, learning the product. I haven't raced Burrell since 2009 was the last time I raced Burrell. So the relationship with PSL was always pretty good. I raced with PSL in 2013 when they took me to race with the factory team of CRG. So I had a good relationship with everyone, Stefan, Dominique. So definitely our karting program, it went from being, 5 out of 10 to, in San Pete, I almost won the race. So we improved a lot. We want to take it. Patrick's a very professional person. We had the big tent. We had the Kiwi floors. We take the big rig. We have a RV, got the big tent. We tried our best to do the most professional way possible.
I like that.
The go-kart never really fit my style. Didn't really fit Patrick's style.
Okay.
The go-kart, it's a good go-kart. It shows, it's proven, it's won everything. The world champions in 2019. The Burrell's a great go-kart.
Yeah.
It just really didn't fit my driving style. The tires that we use down here, the Bridgestone and the MGL or whatever I did to it, it just didn't. When you go and drive and you just don't feel 100% comfortable with your equipment, it's kind of difficult. Patrick kind of felt the same way. So yeah, the FK last year was so easy to work with. We started in Biloxi. We did pretty well in the winter tour. We won, I think I qualified pole 2 out of 3 rounds, except Ocala, because I just suck in Ocala. It's not the go-kart. It's just me. I'm terrible at that track.
I appreciate the honesty.
That's the honest, I'm just terrible at that racetrack. But we got 2 poles out of 3 in the winter tour. We won in both Hard Rocks. We won every single heat, and we got second in both finals. We couldn't seal the deal. Greg and I, the Rock the Rio was the same thing. I qualified pole in 2018, got disqualified, started 32nd, got second, then won 2 heats in a row, won the pre-final, and got second in the final. So it was like we couldn't stop. Right? It's so when you talk about it, I want to punch somebody. It's like, oh, what? But yeah, we worked together. We worked. We went to California. I drove from Ocala to San Francisco with Greg, which I'll never do again, by the way. I'll just take a flight. I'll pay a $250 plane ticket to go to California.
This is going to be part of the beauty of this program. Greg's going to have the West Coast, and Patrick's going to have the East
exactly.
Coast.
When Greg calls me, go race. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll be in a Delta flight.
That's it.
So we worked and we worked and we worked, and we had a race, the Gators, the Challenge of the Americas, and the first day we were leading the final. And I think I ring let go on one of our engines. So I got 3rd in the main. And Sunday we fixed it. We found some things in the engine, qualified pole by a big margin, won the pre-final, was leading the final, and the shift lever broke.
Yeah.
So, we kind of figured out what we needed to make the go-kart work for 20 laps. And we went to Biloxi in Mississippi?
Mississippi.
No. Yeah. Mississippi, yeah. Yep. And it was just dominant. It was just practice 1, 6/10, practice 2, 6/10, qualifying 5/10, won the first heat, won the second heat, and in the third heat, the chain broke. So I was like, oh no. And it was progressive heats. So I had to start last in the last one in the rain, last to 4th, made me start P4 or P5 for the final. And the go-kart was just
well, here, you obviously love the go-kart. It works for you. Patrick, let's go over to you right now because, Greg talked at the start about sending a chassis out to you guys. I looked on social media. I think the first race you were in the thing, you won the category. You won the Masters class. We're going head-to-head with guys in the senior category as well. Obviously, it fits the Formula K, fits you as well.
No, exactly. I mean, my first impression was just amazing. It's a low effort go-karts. It's easy to go fast. And, I'm not 25 like Danny anymore. I'm 46 now. So, it's nice to drive a go-kart like that. That's not so physical to drive. Given that we'll be racing on 2 parking lots for the winter tour, I'll definitely appreciate, how compliant the chassis is, over the bumps. It's just an amazing go-kart to drive, and I like all the components. The brakes are amazing. I remember using I think it was a Duraclan carbon ceramic brakes on my Zanardi some time back, and these brakes have nothing on them, and you can really dive deep and outbrake people, and that's exactly what I did in my first race. I went fastest as I've ever been at Homestead with a 47.1. And had I pushed a little harder during qualifying, maybe I'd gone in a little bit quicker. But Danny always seems to be a second faster than I can manage, and I respect that.
Yeah, there is a bit of a gap between like one of the best in the sport and us Masters drivers, Patrick. Come on, you got to be real.
I must accept that, and be happy. But to get back to the chassis, I mean, I was fresh. I mean, after the race. I got out and I was ready to do some more laps. So probably one of the easiest chassis I've driven, and so I'm just really hoping this translates into great parking lot racing and great racing going forward on that chassis. And frankly, to tell you the truth, the minute I got out of the chassis, one of my clients who didn't get to start the race actually bought the chassis without even driving it, by just watching me race.
Wow! All right,
so,
all right, that's the way to do it.
So race on Sunday, sell on Monday, kind of thing.
That's it. Now, here's the thing. Obviously, the chassis number one, right? The Formula K. Danny's back in the Formula K. That's kind of the whole underlying theme. But I think maybe the bigger, not so much storyline, but the bigger positive here is probably the connection between Leading Edge Motorsports and ANSA Motorsports. Travel's one of the big things. You've got one of the top teams, national teams, based on the West Coast. You guys are new. You guys are based on the East Coast. A lot of synchronicities there for Greg to be able to bring drivers to you in the Florida Winter Tour. If you got guys that want to try a Sonoma race or whatever other race, this feels, Greg, I'll start with you on this. This feels potentially like it could be something really big in terms of East Coast and West Coast for the Florida Winter Tour, maybe even the SKUSA Winter Series if somebody's interested in that.
Yeah, I think, logistically it's a dream, especially for the guy that, really watches the budget. And I don't hire people to drive my stuff around and whatnot. So I'm in the truck, like Danny said, you're pulling the hours, you're leaving your own business in order to support the racer. And so, going to Florida, that's a 4-day drive. I mean, on 4 hard days. And so, that makes a lot of sense to me. And the bigger thing is, I really think that in a short period of time, with our help, I mean, ANSA is going to be one of the powerhouses in the sport too, pretty quickly, just because what we can collaborate together and do, and have, Danny over there, amazing driver coach, amazing kid. And then, with me coming in with, some West Coast drivers and then being a part of the ANSA program there, I mean, that brings, the brain power with it, right? Which is
experience. Yeah.
And what's really cool about it is, again, on the budget side of things, because Patrick and I are bringing people together into the same pit, when he comes to the East Coast and helps, I don't have to pay him. And when I come to the West, when our West Coast and help, and then vice versa. I mean, that's a big part of the budget when you're bringing in, management to try to oversee and help produce wins.
Agreed.
When you start looking at what we pay getting as a consultant, I mean that's $3,000 to $5,000 a weekend that we don't have to charge our customers because we're working together as a collaboration. Yeah.
So that said, Greg, you obviously, I know that you announced today another release came out, a couple of new young drivers, Christian Coulter and Forrest Adams, a couple of drivers in the micro category coming with you as well. Do you expect those drivers to be just West Coast with you, or could you take them over to potentially sample some East Coast Florida Winter Tour racing as well?
Well, part of the cool thing with Adams is that, as we've been talking for the last 3 weeks, kind of putting this thing together, because he's with a really, really good team right now, and I'm not going to go say who he's parting with.
Yep.
The product is very similar to what we're on already because it's made by the same factory, and when I was talking and we were talking, I see my 2021 is going to start off in Florida, and immediately a light went on in his head, and he's like, okay, well, that's something I really want to do, and we can do the same thing on the West Coast at Challenge of Americas. It's just, for me, I like Florida. I mean, it's a cool place to be in the wintertime, or actually warm place to be in the wintertime.
Yep.
And you just kind of get away from the California politics and go racing hardcore and with an amazing contingent of drivers that, push your limits. And that's what I do it for. I mean, I enjoy top competition, and whether we got, this done with ANSA or not, we were going to Florida for winter tour. So culture is probably going to be a bit more local now, just because he's really young. I think his dad said like 8. What is I
8 or 9? 8 or 9? I think he's 9 years old. Yeah,
but he's really young into the sport.
Okay.
And he hasn't had a lot of development work, but immediately gets into the chassis and does some of his best times right out of the gate. But as any young kid, you have good days and bad days, depending on what side of the bed you fall out of, and whether you had Wheaties or Captain Crunch.
Yeah. Hey, so Patrick, you've been in the sport long enough to understand that you start bringing the minds together, right? Experience all comes together. You have to look at this as being a really big advancement for ANSA karting as well. Bringing Greg in, some more drivers in. You're going to have a lot more guys under the tent, all running that, the ANSA Formula K, the leading edge Formula K. This seems like just a complete win-win for you guys.
No, absolutely. I mean, I think for a young team like us, we're rather inexperienced. We're definitely looking to do a lot better, get the results. I mean, I think that, in terms of Danny, we want to win the winter tour overall in his class and do well with other drivers as well. But, when you bring the resources of two big teams together, I think the synergies of both teams start to, coincide. And I think that, the results will come, not in just the shifter class, but, as well as in the other categories, Given OTK dominates some of the other categories, it's I definitely want to see the development go into that and see if we can get more, younger drivers involved. And yeah, it just definitely makes sense for me, as a team owner, really to have the right people in place, drivers, crew, team owners, Greg with so much experience in the industry. I think it made a lot more sense this year than it did last.
Yeah.
For sure. Getting our feet wet last year. I think this year we're going to be a lot more prepared to handle, that kind of environment, more in a composed and controlled situation type environment. So, I'm really looking forward to a promising 2021 and possibly beyond. Yeah, it's a great partnership.
It's like you say to any driver coming to race with you guys at IMSA, you're going to be the 1 year as a rookie. You're going to be so much different the next year as a second-year driver, right? Everything you did, you've obviously done one time, so you guys are going to be a lot more prepared this year. Danny, let's come to you. Obviously, we'll kind of start wrapping things up here. This has got to be kind of a dream deal for you because you've got your connection to Greg, who you've done so well with. You're back on the Formula K chassis. You've got this awesome deal and this relationship and partnership with the guys from ANSA as well. This just seems like an absolutely perfect deal for you right now.
No, to be honest, I couldn't ask for anything better. I'm racing cars, which also is, the number one reason for all of this for me is, try to, get my career. And Patrick has done nothing but push myself and push ANSA and push everything that we could to try to get me to the next ladder, to the next, to the next big opportunity.
Yeah.
And for sure, karting is in my blood. I cannot live without it. Yesterday, I drove a tag for the first time in 5 years, and I loved it. And I love it. I love it. And now with driving, racing with Greg and racing with Patrick, two pretty much dad figures. I have them as dad figures, Patrick and Greg.
That's
like,
cool.
Seriously, they've been like a part of my family for so long that racing in Rock the Rio and having Patrick race and under the same tent as Greg and me race, it's just like family gathering, and having that that product that I know I'm gonna be fast on because we proved it.
Yeah.
And Patrick drove it for, I would say, a max of 45 laps. And was so fast. Beat senior guys, did some times. The MG tire is a great tire, but their fast lap is half a second faster than lap 30. And he would go 0.3 a lap faster each heat session. So he would get 47.4 in qualifying, 47.3 in the pre-final, 47.1 in the final when the tires
go the other direction.
Yeah. So it's just so impressive to me, So I'm super excited. Seriously, I think this partnership is going to be awesome. Have new faces from California, us with our client list here in Florida. I have some drivers from Costa Rica that are just not going to Rock the Rio because of COVID. Everything's a little bit, in Costa Rica, you still have to quarantine when you get there for 14 days. So it's kind of, and November 1st, they open everything back up in Costa Rica. So, I'll have my Costa Rican clients here for the winter tour. And yeah, I'm super excited. I think it's going to be a partnership that could last a lot longer than just, 2021. And yeah, make Greg grow, make ANSA grow, and try to win as much races as possible.
That's absolutely perfect. Let's go around the horn one time. Let's go twice around the horn. Let's talk about the Rock the Rio first. Greg, you're going back to the Rio. You guys are obviously the defending race winners. What are your thoughts on heading to the Rock the Rio event?
It's only one thought. Not just with Danny. I mean, I think that we have all over Calvo, we have a good shot in K100 and GP. And then, we've got a really stellar cadet program. I mean, what Patrick did, 2 weekends ago on the Formula K and Masters, you kind of pick people to, where are we really at and what's going on? And, Renee Martinelli's no slouch. And Renee Martinelli, I think he got fourth in that race. I mean, he wasn't able to hang with Patrick. And, whenever he goes out, depending on whether or not he was, been driving or not, which I'm pretty sure that he has been, that's impressive, man. I mean, Renee's the top 4 guy, top 5 guy at SuperNats and Masters. Team
USA.
I mean, right? He's no slouch. So to be able to do those things, and then, we've got Mike Gwash, and, he's on the Formula K under his own banner, working really, really hard on making his program really, really stellar. Through COVID and whatnot, has been really, really good. And then he finally got the opportunity to hire some really good guys to be able to do it, free me up, which is awesome. And, quite honestly, I mean, anytime you go back to an event that, 2 years in a row, you didn't finish worse than second. And really, we should have won the first year anyway. We made a mistake twice.
Yeah.
You don't get DQ'd on a spark plug on accident. And we know that we can't have one engine last 50 laps. So not the way we run them. And Danny gets everything bit out of them. So I'm pretty comfortable with, the cadet program, the 100cc program, the GP program, and everything going in there. We've got, and eight guys, with ANSA and us together that are going to be, I think, powerhouses. I mean, I think
that's awesome.
A chance to, do everything we did in 2019 with Danny, plus bring more people, and I guess we ran K100 Masters when we were there last year.
Yep.
With a client. And so, I mean, I'm excited. I mean, I'm excited to put the program back together and have Patrick out and, putting a brand new piece together for him that he's going to be blown away with. And even faster than he probably was in Homestead. It's going to be good.
Patrick, let's come to you on that. Obviously, you had your chance to run the Formula K. Give me your thoughts first on going to Rock the Rio, and then we'll kind of come back to you after that. We'll talk about how people can get in touch with you guys for Florida Winter Tour and SKUSA Winter Series, if indeed that's what they're looking for.
No, absolutely. I mean, first, after trying the Formula K, it's all said and done. It's the best chassis I've ever driven. I'm really looking forward to, going to the Rock the Rio. And competing with many of the usual suspects, and I want to run up front. That's the goal, and I'm a Masters class, and the goal is obviously podium, and the goal is winning. So, I really plan to get in the best shape possible, so I can make everybody proud. I'll be doing kart racing for as long as I'm healthy, as long as I'm fast. I will continue doing it, and I'm loving it as well. I'm just absolutely taking it all in. So, going to the Rock to Rio is, it's going to be amazing with Danny's support and Greg's support. And, after I tried the FK, the first thing I said, Greg, build me a new chassis. I've already sold the one I just raced. So obviously you need to build me a new chassis, with all the bells and whistles. So, including engine and everything. So, I really hope to make everybody proud.
I think Danny kind of prefaced it a little bit, Patrick, and we'll kind of cap it off from this. He talked about the fact that everything you guys do, you approach it at 100% professionalism. The way you guys approached the Winter Tour last year, obviously, anybody that wants to come and run a Formula K, obviously Greg's going to bring some guys from the West. You're going to have your guys from the East. There could be some more guys that potentially want to jump on board with the Formula K. If they want to run with ANSA Motorsports and Greg and yourself and Danny down in Florida, how do they get a hold of you guys? Patrick, can you hear me?
I heard that.
Yeah.
I thought that question was for Danny, but
no. Well, either of you. How do they get a hold? How do they get a hold of ANSA?
Well, pretty easy. I mean, I think we're all over the internet, and I think being as big as we are, all you have to do is search, and you get in touch with us. It's not so difficult. It's not so difficult. So
somebody's got to slide into Danny's DMs, and you could be good to go, right?
Exactly. And Danny's has brought in a lot of clients from Costa Rica.
That's awesome.
And brought in a lot of clients to train with us here as well. So people know how to get in touch with us. I don't think that's the issue.
Yeah.
Danny, Greg, final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, we just had a customer call today, or potential new customer out of Miami, and I was talking to him, like, where are you from, and came up that he was from Miami. So, I sent him over, some information, and then hooked him up with Danny. He should have tried to probably call you today. If he hasn't, he probably will. Looking for a cadet program for his grandson, and that's the way we work together. I mean, if it's something that, if you can't get a hold of ANSA, call Leading Edge Motorsports, and you want to do the Winter Tour, we're going to put you in touch with them, and have a program laid out for everybody that wants to go and be involved with the powerhouse.
That's awesome. Danny, what are your final thoughts, man?
No, man, seriously, you guys have no idea. I have, this is probably the best month I've had in racing in my whole career. I have so many cool races coming. I have a race in Guatemala next week. I leave on Thursday morning. I leave to Guatemala. I come back and then go to Laguna Seca, go from Laguna Seca straight to Rock the Rio, then go to Sebring. It's just a dream come true, and I get to do it now with two of my best friends in karting, and grow the team, try to win master, try to win senior, try to win everything under the tent. I'll coach anyone that needs the help. You know how Greg is. Greg always, whoever one needs my help, I'll be there helping, coaching, data, video, and yeah, man, super excited. I think this program is going to be amazing. And somehow you're 179 pounds right now. 179 pounds, man. 179.8 pounds. I could not believe it. I think I was celebrating as much as when I won SuperNationals. I swear to God. It's just crazy. All right, guys, we're done here. Thank you so much. I'll drop you off into the back. I'm going to wrap things up. You guys hang out in the studio, and we'll chat afterwards. Danny, thank you so much. Patrick, Greg, thanks, guys.
Thank you, everyone.
Appreciate it.
Bye, guys.
There you have it, folks. A cool news. New power team, obviously. Greg Bell's been around the sport for a long time, as I had said, 25 years. I've been watching Greg and covering his races and reporting on the stuff that Greg that Leading Edge Motorsports has done, all the way back to the Bobby Wilson and Trevor McAllister days in the SKUSA Pro Moto Tour. Of course, did it last year with Danny Formal at Rock the Rio and the SKUSA SuperNationals, getting that big win in the KZ category. Greg, passionate about the Formula K brand, the Praga brand, but this Formula K package that he and Danny did so well on last year, that's what they're going to be running again. So here's this connection, this West Coast program, this car racing team, ANSA Motorsports, that has developed the karting program along with Danny Formal, one of the best we've had in the last 20 years. Definitely a potent partnership between everybody involved. Thanks so much for them for joining us. I appreciate you coming on here as well. Again, on YouTube here, do me a favor. If you're not subscribing, please subscribe. Hit that like button below. We'll try to get some more content coming here onto the YouTube channel. We do appreciate it. Lots of stuff on our YouTube. Check it out. But again, thank you so much for joining us for this edition of Face to Face. My name's Rob Howden. Book it.